Hello friends, and welcome to today's video. Today's video is gonna be so helpful for y'all because you guys have been requesting this. So many of you struggle with meal prep, whether it's lack of time, or you're just bored, or you just hate doing it. Today's video is gonna give you a ton of quick and easy recipes. Not only that, but this video is in partnership with Hungryroot. Hungryroot is a meal delivery service slash grocery service. They basically deliver to you healthy groceries in order to make really quick, easy, healthy meals. You have the ability to go in and set your profile based on how you like to cook, how long you like it to take you, foods that you like to eat, so you can really customize your own profile. Hungryroot then generates like this list of weekly groceries for you. You have time to go in, customize it, change things around. You can even just get basic groceries. You have a lot of room to play. I let Hungryroot just do the work this week, and I'm gonna share with you throughout this video all the recipes they sent me. Not only that, but we're gonna rate them based on taste, based on ease of prep and nutrition, and then you'll get my final thoughts at the end. If you do want to choose to use Hungryroot, you guys will have a discount code. You can use KaraCorey40. That's going to get you 40% off your first Hungryroot order. Gets you also a free gift. So the link and all of that will be down in the description box below. But if nothing else, I hope you get some good inspo for recipes this week. Let's get into the review. We are starting off with the first meal from Hungryroot, and it was the meal that excited me the most. It sounded the most delicious to me, which is the beef short ribs plus pea snaps with cauliflower mash. Now, this week of Hungryroot, I inadvertently allowed them to choose all of my recipes. You have total control over all your recipes, so much so down to the ingredient. If there's an ingredient in your recipe you don't like, you can just swap it out. I missed the deadline, like I just spaced out and forgot it and let Hungryroot take care of my week. And actually, I'm really excited about each and every meal. This one just stood out to me the most. So I'm eating the leftovers right now in front of you. Well, I'm gonna be. I made this up last night for my dinner and it was so good. I'm gonna do a rating for each and every one of these meals so you can get an overall feel. I'm gonna do an overall rating 1 through 5 based on 1, taste, number 2, ease of prep, because I like things to take me ideally less than 20 minutes. Sometimes that's asking a lot, but when I need to carve out time in my day to be more efficient, meal prep is one easy way to do it. So I'm looking for meals that are very easy to prep. Number 3, nutrition. This will be different for each and every one of you. I'm rating nutrition based on my personal needs, which is a nice balance of macros, meaning I'm getting protein, carbs, and fats from it. Hopefully nothing's much higher than the other. Also looking for some fiber and other micronutrients within the meal. So let me try this as a leftover too. I don't know that I'll film every single meal as a leftover, but the great thing about this is I truly cook for myself, you guys. Jason and I eat totally different foods, totally different meals. I have the luxury of him cooking for me quite a bit, but I'm essentially cooking for myself when I do cook. So having something like Hungryroot, I set mine at 2 servings. So either if I'm super hungry, I want to eat 2 servings in one, or the beautiful thing about this is it allows me leftovers. So I ate this for dinner last night and we're eating this for lunch today. Still just as good, if not better. I don't understand people that don't like leftovers. I think things taste more flavorful the next day. I guess it depends on what the item is, right? Flavor is still good. The beef still has a good texture to it. The snap peas still have a great texture to it. This meal overall, I was very impressed with. I was really hungry last night when I went to prep this, and I love that I only had to pull out 3 ingredients, all of which that were very easy to prep. The beef was pre-cooked, so it was more so a reheating situation, ensuring I reheated it to the proper temperature and then shredded it up. The cauliflower mash I put in the microwave, and then the sugar snap peas, I simply added some olive oil and sea salt to them and cooked them on the stovetop. The meal was prepped in less than 7 minutes. So for prep time, 5 out of 5. in terms of actual taste. I love the flavors together. The beef, fantastic. I can't find boneless short rib beef like this in my grocery stores. At least I've never seen it. So I love that I can get some of these different items from Hungry Root, and it just gives me different ideas. I would have never thought to prep this all together. The sugar snap peas too, oftentimes I buy them and eat them raw. Why have I never thought to just cook them up on the stovetop? They're so delicious. Flavor, taste, 5 out of 5. So 5 out of 5 for taste, 5 out of 5 for prep. When it comes to rating the nutrition of this meal, I am looking for it to be somewhat balanced when it comes to macronutrients. Ideally, I don't like something to be way too high in fat, too low in another area. I like high protein. And I did select gluten-free for my meals because I wasn't sure if Jason may want some stuff. I don't necessarily have to follow gluten-free, but I also don't mind it. So just a little asterisk there for why I chose gluten-free. That could impact some of the meal choices that I got. When I entered this into my meal tracker to see what macros came up to, definitely a high protein meal, 32 grams of protein. That's a really nice sweet spot for me in one meal. I definitely try to aim for 25 to 40 grams of protein, depending on how many meals I'm eating through the day. So that checks the box for me. In terms of the balance of macros though, because the mashed cauliflower was a keto product, there was cheese in there, cream in there, a little higher in fat, higher in sodium than what I necessarily needed. So between that and then the sugar snap peas, it's just a higher fat meal. So this one comes in at 27 grams of fat for the entire meal. It's pretty high, but if I know that ahead of time, I can kind of work around it. Carbohydrates is fairly low. Sugar snap peas and cauliflower, even in a bigger portion, you're not getting a ton of carbs. So 16 carbs total in this meal, about 440 calories. Significantly not too bad, right? Just keeping in mind that this ends up being higher in fat. The sodium on this does end up being a little bit high too, not the most high sodium thing I've ever ate combined, but it ends up at 590 milligrams of sodium. I am someone that can kind of balance that throughout the day. I do drink a lot of water. I don't inherently eat a lot of high sodium foods unless I am eating something that's got a little convenience factor to it. All in all, for nutrition, I would say the balance is a little shifted to higher fat, higher carbs. I'm not a keto girl. Your girl needs her carbs. I am a runner and a lifter, so it's especially important. And considering my genetic testing I've had done, I know I do better with higher carbohydrates and lower fat. So this does present a slight challenge for me in terms of staying on track with what I know is best for my digestion and goals. So for that reason, this meal in particular, I would give a 3.5 out of 5 because I do like the fact that it is high in not high in fiber, excuse me. I do like the fact that it is high in protein. It's not way too high in calories. We do get some good micronutrients in here between the cauliflower, the sugar snap peas, some good minerals from the red meat. So I like this profile altogether. Flavor, freaking 10 out of 10. I'm rating on a scale of 5, so that doesn't even make sense, but it's very flavorful. The other thing I like about this meal is it's something so simple, not too far out of the wheelhouse of what I normally eat. I normally eat very simplified. I eat a meat, I eat a carbohydrate, or I eat some veggies and fruits with it. And this really isn't that far out of line with something I'd eat. Yeah, it's something I've never thought of before. I've never paired these types of items together before. So when you bring in those new flavors, even just the simplest of tweaks with recipes, meal satisfaction for me goes through the roof. This really hit the spot last night for dinner, and it's hitting the spot again for my leftovers today. But I'm probably gonna make another meal from Hungry Root tonight. So what I'm gonna have to do is figure out the macros ahead of time to make sure I don't go too overboard in fat the rest of the day, in effort to see if I can actually fit in 2 Hungry Root meals in one day, which I think I should. Not everything they sent me is high in fat. Overall rating for the beef short ribs, pea snaps, and cauliflower mash is a 4.5 out of 5, which I think is a pretty good rating overall. I'm gonna go enjoy this meal. Ooh. Now I'm gonna make a mess. I'm gonna enjoy this meal and I'll see you at my next meal. It is dinner time and we are making up tonight the Bretta Chicken with roast potatoes and kale salad. Sounds very fancy, but very simple ingredients again that we have here. So we had a bag salad mix for the salad, pretty easy peasy to mix together. The potatoes were in a steamer bag. Now the instructions actually say to oil them and throw them in the oven. Could have totally done that, but in my mind, I wanted to save that time from prepping, and also I didn't want to add any more fat to this meal. So I decided to just steam the potatoes and just leave them plain. So you can kind of use the recipes or you can modify. You have the option, you know, use your mind how you want to. And then lastly, the all-natural chicken patties. This was the Bretta Chicken, essentially, tomato, basil, and garlic chicken patties. You just heat those on the stovetop. So I prepped this essentially in, I'd say 10 minutes or so. I was just filming, so it took a little longer, but about 10 minutes to prep this. If you made it the way they asked, 25 minutes. So in terms of rating prep time, that's still a perfect prep time for me. As long as I can be done in less than 30 minutes with food in my mouth, I am a happy camper, not a hangry camper. So that for me, I'm gonna give a 5 out of 5. Moving into the actual taste, I haven't tasted it yet, so let's see how it is. I mean, I have actually always bought salad kits, not all the time, but I am a salad kit connoisseur, so I know I like salad kits like that. This chicken burger, not something I've ever really dabbled with, I'll be honest. I like it. I like what's happening in my mouth. I like the flavor a lot. I grabbed the package because the first thing I was gonna say is it doesn't taste too overly salty, which I was shocked with. However, the package says 500 milligrams of sodium in one. So I don't know if my mouth hole is off, my taste buds are off, but it really doesn't taste too salty to me. Don't get me wrong, I don't need to add salt to it. It's got a really nice flavor. That bruschetta flavor is coming out and I really enjoy that because I haven't made anything bruschetta tasting in a while. So I like that that's encompassed in my meat patty. I appreciate that. It is 18 grams of protein. We'll talk about nutrition after. Let's talk about potatoes. I've had steamer potatoes. Like I said, I chose to just steam these plain, mashed them, added a little sea salt. Let's taste test it still. They're good, potatoes are good. And this salad, I do love me a sweet kale salad, so that's one serving of the salad. Okay, let's talk about the actual rating for taste. As a whole for the meal, I mean, I haven't finished it yet. I was a little kind of unsure about this combination. It seemed a little all over the place to me. Potatoes, Bretta chicken, and a sweet kale salad. It didn't really make sense, but I was open to it, and honestly, I really like it. I like the flavor of the chicken patty, potatoes, I can't go wrong with those, and the salad. It's all good to me. So the combination together, it actually works. You may not like this combo. I actually like it. So I'm gonna give this combo a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 for the taste. The actual nutrition on this meal ends up being 459 calories, 40 carbs, 22 fat, and 25 grams of protein. So keeping in mind, I did adjust a little bit. I adjusted so that I wasn't adding fat to the potatoes. This could have been higher in fat. It also could have been lower in carbs. I like a little higher carb, a little lower fat. When I look at nutritionals and go for overall balance, I don't like it when I see that fat and protein are about the same. That's just, for me, doesn't end up being balanced. I am a petite female. Fat grams add up very quickly. So I kind of know that going into this type of meal prep. So I did adjust throughout the day. So it's not a deal breaker, but something I still have to point out and enter into my rating system. Overall sodium didn't end up sky high, even though I mentioned that chicken burger was a little bit higher. Sodium 670. Fiber, we've got a few grams there. Nothing else too super high in potassium if you need potassium. So yeah, overall for nutritionals on this one, I guess I will give it a 3 out of 5 because it's still a bit higher in fat than what I like going into my dinner meal, and it would have been higher in fat had I have added that tablespoon of olive oil to my burgers or the potatoes. I just used a non-stick spray, by the way, which adds trace amount of fat. I don't include that. So I'll give it a 3 out of 5. That makes the overall rating for this meal a 4 out of 5. I am gonna go jam on this, eat it up because I am starving, and I'll see you in the next meal when I eat again. Good morning. We are starting the day out with a Hungry Root breakfast. I personally love tacos after my workout, like for a breakfast meal, something about it just always hits right. And we had tacos on the menu this week. We have ground beef tacos with fresh salsa and fajita veggies. Don't knock it till you try it for breakfast. Trust me on this. So prep time on this was very quick. I had grass-fed beef that we just cooked on the stovetop. At the same time, I also cooked up the peppers and onions with the corn tortillas in the same pan. I omitted from this recipe adding any additional oil to it because the grass-fed beef is 85/15, not something I personally would ever grab for myself. And I can't hold it against Hungry Root because if you remember, I didn't alter my selections. So if it was on me, I could have selected a leaner meat, but that's what we're going with today. So for prep time, took me, I say under 15 minutes, so I'm gonna keep giving that a 5 out of 5 because Hungry Root's just nailing it for me with fast prep times for meals. Number 2, taste. I did already start eating these tacos because I didn't want them to go cold with the setup time. I will say grass-fed beef definitely has a different taste to it. I honestly just prefer leaner beef, but nonetheless, the taco tastes phenomenal. The salsa that came with it, it's called Sam's Fresh Salsa. Delicious, tastes so fresh. The flavors, it just gives this amazing freshness to it. And the only other thing I added on here were those grilled peppers and onions. So I didn't add any salt, I didn't add any seasonings, and the flavors really good. Let me take one more bite. Plus these white corn tortillas are very good. Hungry Root got me addicted to them. So overall taste rating for this, although it tastes good, I do personally prefer a leaner beef. I just find it tastes better than higher fat beef in my opinion. Also, I feel like I need another flavor in this meal. Like this just isn't enough for me. So for that reason, I'm gonna score this a 3 out of 5. This one's a little bit of a lower calorie meal compared to a couple of the other ones we've seen. 383 total calories, 26.7 carbs, 19 fat, most of which coming from the beef, and 23.4 grams of protein. Again, macros, I like that this one actually has carbs in it. I'm getting 26 grams of carbs. That makes me happy. 23 grams of protein is pretty close to that sweet spot of protein that I aim for. I usually look for 25 grams of protein in a meal. 19 grams of fat, again, it's a little too high for me. I would like this closer to 10. So for that reason, the only other thing I'll say with nutritionals too, which is nice, a lot of red beef this week is making me happy, just getting in those vitamins and minerals. Sodium on this meal is not high. Also, I didn't add any additional sodium. You're mainly getting it from the beef tortillas, 342 milligrams. I like to comment on that just because of a lot of meal prep type services. They are sky high with sodium, so I think this is a nice alternative. All in all, I would say nutritionally, I would give this, for me personally, probably a 3.5 out of 5, just because that high fat, I would rather have another variety of fat in here. So I would rather have a lower fat beef and have some guacamole to kind of balance out my fat sources if I was going for a high fat meal. Our overall rating for this meal is a 3.8. Lunchtime, and we are having something I've never had before. Lemongrass chicken and veggie stir fry. I guess I didn't really know what to expect from lemongrass chicken, but this is one of the meals I kind of saved for last because I wasn't going into it with high hopes that I would like this. But now that I'm smelling it, It smells pretty good. So this meal consists of the Kevin's Natural Foods Paleo Lemongrass Chicken. This is already cooked chicken breast. It comes in this package with the sauce separate. So this instructionally says you can heat it in the microwave, but Hungry Root told me to heat it on the stove, and I just like meat cooked better on the stove. I think it tastes considerably better. So that's what we did. Still a really quick time to prep it because it's just truly reheating it on the stovetop, adding some sauce to it. Also, that's just a nice option because then you're not cooking it within a plastic container in the microwave. So potentially a little healthier going on the stovetop route. So we did that. Also just called for the recipe to slice and dice up some zucchini and white onion and heat that on the stovetop. I chose to do it without oil. I wanted to keep this meal lower in fat because this one's actually a lower in fat meal, our first one from the grocery haul this week. So that was it. Really quick food prep. Took no time to kind of chop up them veggies and just heat everything on the stove. Probably took me a total of 10 minutes at best. So my rating for prep time, you're noticing a pattern. Hungry Root kills it with our preparation ease here. I'm giving this baby a 5 out of 5. Let's talk about taste. I haven't tasted it yet, and I'm just being real with y'all. This is the one I'm like, I'm not gonna like this. But the smell, like the actual chicken I was really impressed with just the chicken breast. It looked really good. We'll talk about ingredients when we talk about nutrition, but the scent of the lemongrass sauce stuff, that smells pretty good. And zucchini and onions, I just know I like. But let's do a first impression taste test here. And I'm gonna get a little bit of everything in it. Zook, onion, chicken. Okay, I just want to take a bite of the chicken by itself to really taste the sauce too. That's actually really good. I'm really impressed by this. The sauce is really nice. It's not, I guess I wasn't sure what to expect. It's got like a little kind of Asian flair to it in terms of what's going on in my mouth. The lemongrass taste. Is that what you call it? Lemongrass sauce, yes. It's not too overpowering. It doesn't taste too salty in my opinion. It tastes quite nice, like just really nice seasoning to it. Little coconut flavor and ginger in there too, which I actually really like ginger. So all in all, was more impressed with the taste of this meal than expected. I can get the chicken ick real quick with chicken that's just reheated, but like I said, the quality of this was really nice. So far, no grody bits in here. Flavor, not bad. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. Not because flavor is bad, but just because I don't know how much of this I would eat. Like, I don't know if I would routinely choose this meal again, I guess is where my rating is coming from, but taste is actually quite decent. For this meal, this one just ends up being a little bit of a lower calorie option. 215 calories for this meal when divided into servings. 14.5 carbs. You're getting some carbs from your veggies and a little bit from the sauce that's on the chicken. 7 grams of fat because I didn't add any extra oil, so that's a really nice amount of fat, enough fat in there to make us feel full, but not give us the belly gurgles. And for protein, 22 grams of protein. So I really like what I'm seeing here in terms of macros. Sodium is 400 milligrams. That's gonna end up being the lowest sodium meal we've had thus far. Not bad. All in all, very impressed with that macro ratio. I would give that for me, like a 5 out of 5.
That was it.
I mean, macro-wise, this is the best nutrition split I've had out of all my meals. So I will give this one a 5 out of 5. I don't mind that this is lower in carb. I could easily add some of my extra carbs that I have from my Hungry Root order to this. I have leftover potatoes from the other day, and I also have tortillas. So that's the nice thing with Hungry Root. Even if it's like 2 servings, you get a whole package of a lot of this stuff. So you do have food you can kind of work into other meals too. So I will give this nutrition a 5 out of 5. I don't know if you guys can get the Kevin's natural food items where you are. That's where the cauliflower I had the other day is from. And I think he does do Kevin, you do a nice job with your ingredients here when you look at it between the chicken and the lemongrass sauce with everything that's in there. So it's paleo approved, which the nice thing about that is, you know, with them calling it paleo, you should double check it, yes, but it's gonna lend itself to more natural ingredients, because the whole thought process with eating paleo is you're eating natural, right? You're eating stuff that you could get from the earth or get from an animal. Like, you're not getting too much processed, which everything in here for ingredients is very recognizable. There's no additional additives in here. So bonus points for that. If you are in a pinch and need a quick protein option, you're not doing Hungry Root, this would be something I would maybe check out your local grocery stores for. That is gonna rate our lemongrass chicken veggie stir fry a 4.5 out of 5 from me. This one surprised me the most thus far. That's what I was trying to not do. We're on our final Hungry Root meal. This is dinner tonight. We have the Tuscan style steak and arugula salad. Okay, real quick though, here's the thing with Hungry Root. It is fresh food delivered to you. So my order came on Monday. We're now on Sunday, day 7, 6, 7, right? You'd count Monday, right? Yeah, so I'm on day 7 now. You do kind of need to look at your grocery list and make sure that you kind of strategically eat things in a certain order. So another mess up from me is the arugula needed to be ate by yesterday. I tried to take a look to see if I could make it work. I couldn't make it work. However, I did a grocery shop. I had some other greens, so hence we've got kale greens in here. So just something to consider if you do purchase Hungry Root. It does tell you when things need to be consumed by. A lot of what you're getting needs to be consumed within the week, but just be more purposeful with produce, not like what I did. All right, so this one was a New York style strip steak, and I know this is gonna sound weird, but I've never had New York strip steak before. So I'm just not someone that typically purchases like a fattier cut of beef, if you will. So I cooked it up the best I could on the stovetop. The salad, real easy to prep. I did my kale and then just added lemon juice, some freshly grated Parm cheese that looked incredible, as well as a little olive oil to it. So this is as simple as it gets. Out of my whole week worth of groceries, this is probably the most simplistic meal. A little underwhelmed with that. Like, I do like a good salad, but I'm a girl that likes a girthy salad. Like, I want a bunch of things in it. I want more veggies. I like fruit in it. I like a lot of stuff. So I'm like a little underwhelmed at the general appearance. Overall prep time though, we're still impressed with prep time over here. Even cooking this big old steak, 'cause it was a huge steak. Got plenty of leftovers over there. Less than 15 minutes to prep, so we do enjoy that. The salad was real quick, so straight 5 out of 5 with everything I prepped from Hungry Root in terms of prep time. I'm just gonna try the greens by themselves with the lemon juice, Parm, and olive oil, because I've actually never done that combo before. Is it enough to make kale taste okay? It's not bad. Kale's a little bitter, but I am someone that likes kale, so I can do that. Arugula would be a better option. All right, now let's try the strip steak. Try to get a piece. I don't want the giant fatty end piece. Should I try the middle piece? I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh, I can't do it.
I didn't think you'd like it. I can't steak. You're picky with steak.
I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm super picky when it comes to steak. There's not a lot of steak that I will eat. I like filet mignon. I like sirloin. And even with that, if I get a bit that's a little too chewy, it's done for me. So this could be a Kara thing. I know a lot of people like different cuts of steaks. Again, I let Hungry Root choose my week, so I risked it for the biscuit. And this one just wasn't it for me in terms of taste. I'm gonna give this a 1 out of 5, just to be honest. It's just underwhelming in general. Even if I like the steak, I would have still been underwhelmed, but I just personally don't like this one. Beauty of Hungry Root, you are able to change your meals. So this one's not it for me. In terms of the actual nutrition, and then we'll get our overall score. This one's gonna be 365 calories, only 1.7 grams of carbohydrate. 25.6 grams of fat, 28.5 grams of protein. So another one for me where it's just the protein and the fat are at that same level. Calorically, not super high, but it definitely eats up a ton of fat in my day. And for me, I'd rather eat nuts. I'd rather have flax seeds. I'd rather have avocado. I'd rather have more olive oil and not have 17 grams of fat in the beef. The cut of beef itself was a grass-fed beef, by the way. There was nothing added to it, so that is a nice option if you're looking for something grass-fed, but nutritionally, this one tanks for me too. I'm gonna say it's a 2 out of 5. We have barely any carbs there and just way too much fat, so this just doesn't meet my personal needs. This meal is only scoring a 2.6 out of 5. We're kind of ending on a lower note, but all in all, I really did enjoy a lot of my meals throughout the week. All in all, I always enjoy my Hungry Root packages. It always re-inspires me to get more creative with my own meal prep. I don't rely on a Hungry Root meal service each and every week. I think it's nice to have this as an option if you are someone that's cooking for yourself, or even if you're cooking for your family and you need some quick ideas. I think this video proved you get some really quick ideas. It does help you cut corners. And in addition to that, you can spruce up your meals however you want. I want to mention again, you have the option to modify everything within your profile to make prep time adjustments, ways you like to cook, whether you use an air fryer or an oven, different types of menus that you prefer, whether you're someone who's vegetarian or you eat keto or gluten-free. You can make all those customizations, and Hungry Root gives you that menu ahead of time, and you have time to change out all your ingredients or swap a recipe altogether. So you have tons of flexibility to really make it work for your lifestyle. I just think it's such a great service to be able to get, in terms of a meal prep service, as minimal junk as possible, if that makes sense. So a lot of meal prep companies, it's already pre-prepared. You're kind of trusting their macros. This, for me, I appreciate that I have each and every ingredient laid out for me. I can see what exactly is going into my recipes, and all in all, everything was kept fairly basic. So this was my fourth Hungry Root order, and I have always really enjoyed them. They truly make my life easier, especially during a busy week, which just seems to be my life. Not complaining about it. I love to be busy. This really helps save me on meal prep time. So again, if you guys do want to try out Hungry Root, that is going to be Kara Corey 40 at checkout. That's going to get you a 40% off discount off your first Hungry Root order, and you get a free gift with that. So if you would like to try out Hungry Root, I'm going to leave my link down in the description box below. That's going to let the team know I sent you over. Let me know down in the comments if you enjoyed this style of video, rating the different meals I have, and if you would like to see more types of videos like this. If nothing else, I hope this gave you some quick meal inspo for your week to kind of get you creative in thinking about ways that you can be more efficient with your meal prep. All right, friends, that's it for me. I will see you in the next video.